Okay, hello again. Judgment Day plus 16. 16 days since the introduction of the state of emergency in Serbia as a means of prevention of spreading of coronavirus. Driving the street that is dividing practically Kanarevo Brdo from Dedinje. On our right is Kanarevo Brdo. On our left is Dedinje. We will be going to Dedinje now. Dedinje being the fancy posh area of Belgrade with all nice villas, a lot of embassies, etc. So it's also a diplomatic area. Okay, we can turn here left and then going relatively sharply up. This is what we are going to do. Okay. The yard and our royal family's house, Beli Dvor, as we say, White Castle, is also located here in this area. Okay, so let's say from this moment on is the area with nice houses, some of them being under construction. Nice flag. Essentially start here. And on our left is the yard. Quite not yet, but we'll reach it soon. Now practically in front of us is the yard of the White Castle. One of the famous restaurant Jerry is also located here. Brate, šta radiš? No comments. So we are riding now next to the area of the White Castle on our left. We will soon be also reaching American Embassy, Embassy of the United States, which is here. And nice villas are now both sides. As you can see, there are some guards. Didn't manage to see which embassy was that one. And if you wish to see the location of the ex-residents of Slobodan Milošević, we'll be now driving to this street. This is the head office of Pink Television. I'm not going to comment it. So on our right are some of the most famous clinical centers, not the very clinical center of Belgrade, but clinics actually on our right, and we will be going slightly left and then slightly right. So these are the streets Užička, Tolstojeva, etc. There will be a lot of embassies now in this street. Of the Arab Emirates, for instance, we have just passed next to it. Guards are everywhere now. We have passed just now a nice villa. Yeah, definitely a nice area. Ležeći policajci, as we say, the lying policemen, these retailers. Quite green area. Soon Topčiderska zvezda. So in front of us is Topčiderska zvezda, the roundabout, but we will be going slightly to the right. This park here is known as the Hyde Park, similar to the one in London, much smaller of course. There are people that park at the very center of the street practically, these clever guys. So on our left is the Hyde Park, and we will be soon reaching the Museum of 25th of May, where our Marshal Tito has been buried. It is a nice place, definitely. It's also the museum, I believe, of the history of Yugoslavia, etc. I've been there only once, actually. I mean, strange, but practically there are still people on the very 25th of May, which was kind of, as you see, the places for bus, touristic buses. So this is the building up. And all the stafeta, I'm not sure that similar to the athletic discipline, the stafeta, or how do you call it, where you have a piece of wood or plastic being handed over from one runner to the other. let me tell you a story about Štafeta in ex-Yugoslavia. Every year, sometime I believe beginning of May, the Štafeta was starting from certain city in ex-Yugoslavia, and I actually, or even from all republics, I cannot, because there were 6 republics within ex-Yugoslavia: Macedonia, Serbia, Montenegro, Bosnia, Croatia, Slovenia, and practically the runners were running through all important cities of ex-Yugoslavia, handing over and passing the Štafeta, this nicely decorated wooden stick, from hand to hand, so as this Štafeta to reach finally Belgrade on the 25th of May, the birthday of our Marshal Tito. And there was every year there was a huge ceremony called Slet. Usually the pupils from high schools were attending, even from elementary schools, and then the best pioneers, etc., etc. So it was a lot of tradition. This was taking place at the so-called Stadion JNA, or the Stadion of the Yugoslav National Army. This is the today's stadion of football club Partizan, and back then it was actually the stadion of, because Partizan, you know the word. It was nice. It was nice. No one knows how much did it cost actually to organize this every year, because practically thousands of people were participating. Kids were taken out of schools whenever the Štafeta was passing through their town. They were waving, me inclusively, waving with the small flags of either Yugoslavia or just the red flag of international brigades. It was nice, and especially the Slet, the final ceremony at the stadium, was extremely nice. My brother was he's older than me, and he participated in it in 1984. Tito already died in 1980, but this tradition was continued up until the year 1986, I believe, or something like that, 87 maybe. This was, I believe, quite traditional for all socialistic countries, and it was really nice, now that I remember. Yeah. About the spreading of coronavirus, now that I think, and then now that I mentioned the socialist countries, it seems to me that ex-socialist countries are doing better in controlling the spreading of coronavirus than the countries known for its liberal capitalism. One could argue about it, but it seems to me that this is because of the heritage of the socialist era and the organization of the health service, primary, secondary health protection, etc., etc., but also in the way that the rulers of such countries and the people are somehow used to discipline in a way, because we also have been practicing some extraordinary events. So there were civil how to say, practically practicing the state of emergencies. What would happen in case of the nuclear attack, in case of some epidemic, etc., etc. So the elderly people still know about it, and practically this tradition and the knowledge about how to behave. As I mentioned in one of my previous videos in my elementary school, I was the member of the section called Hygiene and Epidemiology section, let's say. So we will also train what to do and how to do in case of emergency, depending of course on the type of emergency. There was a nice film also explaining these civil practices at the national level. Nešto između is the name of the film. When the American lady was married to the Serbian guy, an actor, and then her trying to understand what is happening in the country, also during these exercises and the practices, etc. But also in everyday life. I mean, it's nice. I mean, if you have a chance to see it. So nešto između, or English translation would be something in between, I believe. Not sure. Okay, that much for now. Talk to you soon.